Good evening. My name is Sheldon Grabke, and I'm the Registrar and Acting Director of Student Services here at OISE. And I'd like to thank you for venturing out on this snowy evening, and would like to warmly welcome you to OISE and to our MEd Information Night. I'd also like to congratulate you on your decision to attend tonight. I know that contemplating further study is daunting for many, so thank you for coming. So why should you consider the University of Toronto? As one of Canada's oldest academic institutions, U of T draws from a long tradition of excellence and achievement. The university has graduated no fewer than 4 Canadian Prime Ministers and currently ranks 20th overall in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings, 24th in the academic rankings of world universities, and 20th in the QS World University Rankings. And why should you consider OISE? OISE is Canada's leading centre for graduate studies and education and offers a wide range of academic and professional programs involving the study of learning from birth through adulthood. Our faculty represent the best and the brightest in their fields of teaching and research with wide-ranging interests and active research programs. Their contributions shape education systems around the world, and they are keen on engaging with you over the course of your studies here at OISE. Our alumni hold prominent academic and professional positions in Toronto, in Canada, and across the globe. Together, our faculty and our students create a community of scholars that has the breadth, the depth, and the resources to make a huge difference in the world. A world where education is at the center of Canada's ability to compete economically, to create social cohesion, and to provide the opportunities students need to make a difference. So why should you consider an MEd degree? The Master of Education degree is considered by the university to be a professional degree. A professional graduate degree is no less rigorous than a research-oriented master's degree. In general, the emphasis is on coursework-based learning activities determined by the program or selected by the student to build a professionally relevant body of knowledge and intended to expand career opportunities. If you are seeking to establish or develop a career pathway in education, or in a field related to education, or develop an education theme within a career pathway, a Master of Education from the University of Toronto is a means to set you apart and above from the crowd. The capacity to succeed in graduate level inquiry is valued in today's knowledge-based economy, and the MEd degree is a highly recognized indication of this capacity within the broader field of education. So OISE is made up of 4 different graduate departments, which you'll hear today, offering 12 different program streams. 8 of our programs offer Master of Education degrees, and 6 are still accepting applications right now for 2015 admission and are participating in tonight's event. To give you an overview of the evening, next you will hear from departmental leaders who will give a quick introduction to 6 of our MEd programs. After this, you will have a brief overview of admission requirements and procedures. Then we'll move from the auditorium into breakout sessions, and these breakout sessions will be department specific. These sessions will run from 6 to 7, and you'll see it in the program that we gave you, and the locations are in there. At 7 p.m., we'll gather together for refreshments in the OISE library, where you can have further discussions with departmental and program representatives, as well as with our alumni, student services, and our registrar's team. So now I'm going to put on a program hat, and I'm going to speak to you briefly about our MEd programs in our Leadership, Higher, and Adult Education department. The Adult Education and Community Development program gives students an opportunity to study and reflect on the forms of learning that happen among adults in communities, in workplaces, in homes, on the streets, and in the virtual world. In fact, in any place where people come together to make social change. In the AECD program, theories of learning, education, activism, and social justice are paired with what people do, what they have done, and what they can do in the future to bring about change. The program has 4 academic streams: community development, workplace learning, Aboriginal education, and global education. And most students take courses across all 4 streams. Many of the students who come to the Adult Education and Community Development program have a great deal of experience and an awareness of the central role of learning in transforming their lives and the world around them. Students typically have a desire to move into positions that involve community activism, policy development, leadership, peer and colleague mentorship, and organizational development. In addition, many are interested in or are already working with immigrant, youth, Aboriginal, women's, or LGBTQ agencies and communities. AECD also has a table after the breakout session. When we go into the breakout session, they have a table in the library where they'll have program-specific information. And they'll also have business cards for our coordinator, our program coordinator. LHAE also has another MEd program. The Education, Leadership, and Policy program emphasizes PK to 12 education and is designed to develop highly skilled educators, administrators, policy analysts, and academic practitioners. Within the program, students are able to explore the field more broadly or focus on one of 4 thematic strands: policy, leadership, change, and social diversity. We are affiliated with several collaborative education programs, including the Collaborative Program in Educational Policy and the Collaborative Program in Comparative, International, and Development Education. Graduates from our program come from and go on to careers in the public and private education systems, as well as government and nonprofit sectors here and abroad. Most students entering the MEd pursue a course-only option, completing their degree by taking 10 semester-long courses. And in OISE speak, these are called half courses. MEd students also have the option to switch from the course-only option to a research option once enrolled. Some students decide during the program that they'd like to write a thesis or a major research paper, which is also called an MRP. We're still accepting applications for a September 2015 start, and we encourage applications into our regular MEd program for students interested in either full or part-time study and who prefer face-to-face classroom learning environments. We're also attracting students into an innovative online cohort where part-time students will move together through the program as a group, taking most of their courses online. Program Coordinator Joe Flessa will be happy to meet with you personally or answer your questions by phone or email, and his business card is at the table in the library. And we do have on that table, we're going to have someone actually at the table to answer questions for you that are more program specific. So next, I have the joy to introduce you to Dr. Doug McDougall, Chair of our Curriculum, Teaching, and Learning Department, and he'll speak about his MEd programs. Welcome, Doug.
Great, thank you very much. As introduced, my name is Doug McDougall. I'm the chair of the largest department of Curriculum, Teaching, and Learning. And we have 3 programs in our department. 2 of them are taking Masters of Education students, and then a third one which is about teacher education with our Master of Teaching program. Since you're here to talk about and learn a little bit about the Master of Education, I will tell you first of all about the 2 programs and then a little bit more in detail. First of all of the Masters of Education degrees in CTL have 10 courses, as Sheldon mentioned, 10 half courses in total, and that we've broken it up into 2 components. So first of all, in Curriculum Studies and Teacher Development, we focus on 2 major areas that we would find in K-12 schools, both in schools and non-school settings. First of all, there's a focus on looking at teaching and learning in different subject areas, particularly around how pedagogy, curriculum, teachers, and students interact with each other, and there's a variety of courses that you can take in each of those areas. There's also a cluster that focuses on critical perspectives in each of those areas, focusing on what are some of the challenging questions about pedagogy, about teaching, about learning, about student reaction to what they're learning in classrooms, for example. Those are the areas that we focus in Curriculum Studies, Teacher Development. In the second program, we focus on language and literacies education, and again, in 2 areas. One is about the language, the acquisition of language, the thinking about how students learn second and third languages, and also students who are in schools where English is their second language or third language, and how we might work with those students. We also focus on language discourse and how students learn about these different ways of expressing themselves that might not necessarily just be in their own language. In literacies education, we're focusing on how one learns to read, how one learns to write, and how one learns to integrate their reading, writing, and oral communication, and many kinds of communication. The literacies education is also looking at how we might integrate literacies in different areas. So we have faculty who are focusing on the far north, some are focusing in other countries, in China, in Chile, in different areas around the world, and then some are taking a look at literacies and how we learn from each other in a cultural perspective, and how that might focus a little bit different on what we might do in North America or in Ontario, and how it might look differently in other countries around the world. We also focusing between the language and literacies a lot on Aboriginal education. We integrate these two programs in such a way that students are allowed to take courses in either of the programs. So they must take 5 courses within their home curriculum or language and literacy education, but then they can take 5 in other areas within the department or also within OISE. And we do try to find ways of getting students to take courses with other students in other departments as well. The third department that we have, we're not going to spend any time on, but I want to let you know about it. We do have a master's teaching program which allows our students to get a master's degree in teaching certification in Ontario. To get more information, we are actually housed on the 11th floor in this building, and you'll see that there are 2 rooms identified for these, for the curriculum studies and language education, all on the 11th floor. There you will hear from the coordinators of the programs, as well as staff and other students who are actually working in the program, so you can ask them questions. And afterwards, when we get down into the library, there are tables there for you to ask additional questions for the program if you didn't get a chance to go to one or the other. We are still open, and we're happy that you're able to come here tonight. So that's the end of curriculum teaching and learning, and the next is from our Department of Social Justice, and Abby Backen is going to come up and talk a little bit about her program.
Hi everyone. So as my colleague Doug McDougall just said, my name is Abby Backen. I am proudly the chair of the Department of Social Justice Education here at OISE. The Department of Social Justice Education, or SJE, is a unique and defining feature of OISE. It's one of 4 departments, and it is, to our knowledge, the only Department of Social Justice Education in a Faculty of Education in Canada. Our Masters of Education program is one of several degree streams, including the PhD and the Educational Doctorate and the Masters of Arts. And our MED degree offers you a chance to build your understanding of social justice as it relates to education, both within and beyond a classroom setting. But I should tell you what it's not. The MED in social justice education will open many doors for you, but it's not a recipe. It's not going to give you a clear sort of how-to, step-by-step guide to implement social justice or to organize social justice workshops. What it will offer is that it provides our students with the tools about how to think critically and how to address the challenging contexts and complex meanings of social justice education, and how to develop critical consciousness in the context of education. Our students come from very diverse backgrounds and often are very passionate educational professionals or community workers, activists, sometimes social workers, sometimes healthcare professionals, people who simply are very motivated to understand key issues in our times and are preparing to try to think about how they could impact and change the world, maybe a little bit or maybe a lot. We take the challenging questions that we encounter that sometimes have no language, have no words, feel undiscussable, and we find ways with first-class, world-class, outstanding instruction to talk about these things in a way that can move us forward. Our Masters of Education in Social Justice Education addresses urgent issues of our time, and it also introduces you to social theorists who can consider solutions and guidelines in an educational context. I'll go over some of our areas of concentration. These include anti-racism and critical race theory, indigenous theory and anti-colonial thought, critical studies in media culture and communication, feminism, queer and gender studies, disability studies, critical studies in democracy, ethics, and social class, francophone studies, and transnational studies and post-colonial diasporas. What connects all of these is a focus on injustice and inequality in education. If you want to explore a program in social justice education, it's really hard to imagine a more comfortable and supportive environment in which to do that. Our classes, our discussions, our intellectual atmosphere is one where ideas that are often marginalized or cornered or where you feel defensive in other contexts come into light in the Department of Social Justice Education. And with this degree, doors will open for you, as with multiple opportunities in education, in policy, and in ongoing research areas. So I invite you to come join me later on, and I can give you more information and talk to you about it in more detail.
Hello. My name is Earl Woodruff. I'm the Associate Chair in the Department of Applied Psychology and Human Development. And I want to just give you a very quick overview of who we are, what we offer, and what that could mean to you. We're a department of about 30 faculty. We have very active research programs, and we teach in the areas of counseling psychology, school psychology, teacher certification, and developmental psychology, of course. Our developmental psychology program includes the Masters of Education degree. And there are 3 different areas of concentration in that master's program. One is special education, early childhood education, and we're developing an emerging area of mental health in education. The special education program is delivered by a number of people that are publishing in the area, active research programs in that area. The early childhood education program covers topics like play in education, technology, psychology in education, and how to deal with issues around full-day kindergarten, that type of issue. And our emerging health concentration is interested in topics like bullying, violence, children at risk, those kind of topics that we see as becoming an extremely important area around the world, not just in Canada. The type of people that take our master's program are about half deal with community work. The other half are teachers. Within community work, we have people that are working with NGOs. And the program itself, like others that have been described to you earlier, consists of 10 half courses, and those are reasonably open. We try not to restrict too much because we want you to take advantage of everything that's offered around this building and across the University of Toronto campus. So we're flexible in that way, and we provide opportunity for some that want to go on and do doctorate work too. We'll be able to tell you more about our program in quite a bit of detail in our breakout session. We'll be moving up to the 12th floor into the Nexus Lounge, and hope to see some of you there. Thank you.
My name is Kim Holman, and I work in the Registrar's Office. Can everyone hear me, including people at the back? We're good? Thumbs up, that's a good sign. I'm going to be providing a presentation, and I want to start with saying that all the information that I'm going over is available on the Registrar's Office website or on departmental websites, so there's lots of information available to you. This is certainly an exciting event. I can guarantee you that my presentation is not the most exciting part of your evening. I've been asked to provide a presentation around the nuts and bolts of applying for admission, so I will do just that. The Registrar's Office team works with our 4 academic departments, and basically we tackle the administrative side of being an applicant, a prospective student, as well as being a student. And we support those folks as they move through those processes. I did not come alone this evening. I brought 2 of my colleagues with me, and I'm going to ask them to stand and wave so that you know who they are when we're available at the table in the library for you to come and ask questions or chat. So Fiona is one of those people, and Gladys is the other person, just so you know who they are. So on to those nuts and bolts. Minimum admission requirements, it's important to state fundamentally that all applicants are considered on their individual merits for admission to any graduate program at the University of Toronto. We do establish some basic admission requirements further to that, one of which being an appropriate bachelor's degree with high academic standing, equivalent to at least mid-B or better, from a recognized university. You may be asking, what does appropriate mean? So appropriate means it's a degree that satisfies certain criteria. For example, it's coming from an issuing institution that's recognized. It's a degree that's a standard first entry degree that leads to research-based graduate studies. So for example, in Canada, that means typically an honors 4-year 20 full course bachelor's degree. That's what we're looking for in terms of a basis of admission. We're also looking for a degree that has some level of affinity or programmatic fit to the graduate program to which you're applying. And we're also looking for a bachelor's degree that's comparable to a corresponding University of Toronto degree in terms of breadth and depth. And what that means is that there is a certain level of liberal arts and science or academically oriented content in the degree that we're looking for to consider it comparable to a University of Toronto appropriate degree. So by liberal arts and science, that means academically oriented courses, and we're looking for a marker of 75%. So 75% of the bachelor's degree should be academically oriented courses, and what we would consider not academically oriented are things like a practicum, if there's a studio component or a sports component. Those are typically courses that we wouldn't count in our liberal arts evaluation, again looking for that 75% overall. For the MEd degree, we also are looking for a year of professional education or its equivalent, and we're also looking for a year of relevant, successful professional experience. Those are things that are evaluated by the department or program admission committees, and I'm sure they'll get into that a bit more in the breakout sessions. If you're educated outside Canada and your first language is not English, then you are required to satisfy an English language proficiency requirement prior to us issuing you an offer of admission. And lots of detailed information about this particular requirement is on the graduate admissions website. If you are admitted to an MEd degree program, and some of my colleagues alluded to these minimum degree requirements previously. Most of the MEd programs, the ones that are open for 2015 fall admission, are 10 half courses. The standard is at least half of those courses should be completed within the home program. The full-time program length we're looking for is 1 1/2 years. And there's a maximum time to complete the MEd degree, and that's 6 years if you're undertaking study on a part-time basis, and 3 years if you're undertaking study on a full-time basis. I mentioned fall 2015, and that's September 2015. For MEd programs that are currently open for admission, that's the program start date or the prospective start date that's available when you're applying. Not surprisingly, the application for admission is based on the web, and I have the URL there as well. OISE operates under the umbrella of the University of Toronto School of Graduate Studies, so all of our applicants apply through the School of Graduate Studies online application system. And as you would expect, as an applicant, there are certain things that you are responsible for when you apply online. Pretty straightforward. You're going to input all of your relevant information and make sure that it's accurate. You're going to provide referee contact information. You're going to pay the application fee, upload your supporting documents, and monitor the status of those documents as well as the overall status of your application. Again, lots of comprehensive information is on our website about applying online. If I could identify just 2 tips about the online application, the first one would be to remind you that OISE programs are a handful of over 80 programs at the University of Toronto at the graduate level. So you want to be absolutely sure that you're picking the right program. And that includes identifying OISE as the graduate unit. If you don't tell us that you're applying to OISE through the graduate unit pick list on the online application system, we unfortunately just simply won't see your application. The other tip isn't really a tip as much as a note in that OISE is unique. We do allow applicants to apply to up to 3 programs of study within OISE under one application. It's not mandatory. It gives you that option, though, to choose up to 3 programs. So if your interests cross over, you want the MEd degree, but you're interested in a couple of different programs, you have that option within one application record. Those supporting documents that you upload, that's your responsibility to compile them and upload them on the online application system. Descriptions are available on our website. In the breakout sessions, I suspect they might get into some of them as well. Required supporting documents include transcripts, letters of reference, your resume, and a statement of intent. Quickly about transcripts, you're required to provide, as part of the complete application, transcripts for each and every post-secondary institution that you've attended. Transcripts are provided in 2 different formats, electronic and official. Official is the old-fashioned way, paper transcripts that we receive in the mail in a sealed envelope. If some of you are U of T current or former students, and I suspect and hope some of you are, you're not required to submit official paper transcripts for University of Toronto study, generally speaking. Letters of reference, I can't stress enough how critical it is to contact your prospective referees in advance of submitting your application. To make sure that, first of all, you have correct contact information, and that includes a valid institutional or organizational email address. So Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail is not institutional nor organizational. And also, more importantly, that your referees are going to be willing and able to submit a letter of reference to support your application in a timely way. And not only timely, but it's going to be an excellent letter of reference. You want to make sure you choose your referees wisely. A word about the statement of intent. If you do decide to apply to more than one program, we suggest that in your statement of intent, which is one document, that you have clearly indicated sections so that the various admissions committees know what they need to pay particular attention to when reviewing your application. Again, on our website, we have lots of information about deadlines and closing dates. The MEd programs that I've listed there are currently open for admission. A word, though, that programs can close at their discretion. So, although I'm not aware of any programs closing in the immediate future, and I certainly hope not, my suggestion would be, if you decide to apply for admission, that you do so without delay, so that you're not disappointed 2 months from now when that program has closed for admission for the upcoming year. Once you submit your application online, we in the registrar's office see your application record. You'll see that it shows documents pending, and as you upload your documents in support of your application, it transitions to received documents, to an overall status of documents received, and then actually under review. We in the registrar's office manage, among other things, we manage the data around your application record, and we also complete an academic assessment. We forward the application record to departments and their admission committees, where the application is reviewed in its entirety, not just our assessment, but all of the supporting documents that you submit. With applications received in the near future and moving forward into the spring and summer, we expect to notify applicants with official results within a 4-week time frame or thereabouts. So I mentioned that we in the registrar's office complete academic assessments. Again, the basis of admission to an MEd degree program is an appropriate bachelor's degree, and we're looking for that mid-B average. If a bachelor's degree is completed on a full-time basis, we simply average the final year. If the bachelor's degree is completed on a part-time basis, which means the final year it has less than 4 full courses undertaken, then we would look at the most recent, most senior level courses, and we have to have at least 5 that we're looking for. Again, this information is on our website. We try to be very transparent about the way we undertake an academic assessment, if you want to look on the website or review your own transcripts to determine that you have that mid-B or better average. A lot of students apply with a bachelor's degree in progress. So it goes without saying we would evaluate, do an assessment based on available grades. So some of you may be currently in your 4th year and you have some fall session grades. So we would typically combine those fall session grades with some third year grades. So we might take the winter session of the 3rd year, combine it with the fall session of the 4th year, for example. An unfortunate reality of undertaking a graduate program is fees. So I do include this information in my presentation. I've listed the full-time academic fee associated with our MEd degree, as well as the part-time academic fee. There's incidental and ancillary fees associated with that, and I've listed those again, part-time and full-time. And the international fees are in brackets. These are fees for 2014-15 and for 2015-16, and moving forward, fees are going to change, no doubt, a little bit, probably. I don't like to end on fees, but that is the end of my presentation. And I would just again thank you for coming and remind you that myself and Gladys and Fiona will be in the library, and we're more than happy to talk and answer any questions that you have.